This is a Dark Ranger guide for marksmanship hunters in the War Within. So most people are going to be going with Sentinel, and I have put my Sentinel guide in the pinned comment below for you. However, if you would like to play Dark Ranger, because it is really fun, then this is the build for you. I will be going through the hero talents in full, but one of the main things that Dark Ranger does is it adds this black arrow attack on a 30-second cooldown. Each time it deals damage, you've got a chance to generate a charge of your aim shot and reduce its cast time. So I just want to let you know of that before we get started. Looking at the set bonus for marksmanship, our arcane shot and multi-shot damage are both increased. That's basically our focus kind of dump, if you will, the main thing we're spending our resource on. Consuming precise shots increases the damage of your next aim shot by 10%, and that can stack twice. And again, we're going to go over that as well, so don't worry if you don't know what that means. So the number one priority is using 2 steady shots, and that is specifically if our true shot cooldown here is not being used. So we're going to use steady shot, and we're going to use steady shot again. And you can see up here, we've now got the steady focus, where our haste is increased by 8%. That is going to come from doing 2 steady shots in a row. And keeping that up is our main priority. Otherwise, we use our true shot on a 2-minute cooldown. Reduces the cooldown of your aimed shot and rapid fire, and causes aimed shot to cast 50% faster for 18 seconds. While true shot is active, you generate more focus and gain critical strike chance and 2% critical strike damage every second, stacking up to 10 times. Every 50 focus spent will reduce the cooldown of this ability as well. So the more of our resource we spend, the more we're actually going to reduce the cooldown even quicker. So that's our main priority, keeping up that. And if you ever lose it, it's from this talent here, Steady Focus. After that, we're going to use our Black Arrow on cooldown. And notice here that our kill shot has procced, so we're going to use that next. You attempt to finish off a wounded target, dealing a lot of health damage, and it's only usable to enemies under 20% health, and it deals 25% increased critical strike damage. Sometimes this will proc, and you should use it at this kind of high priority whenever available to you. Then we have rapid fire, as you can see here, shooting a stream of arrows at our target, dealing damage, and we can use that while moving as well. Rapid fire causes your next aim shot to cast faster, which is this next spell. So we can use that while moving, pretty much use it on cooldown here. The next thing, perfect timing, is aimed shot. A powerful aimed shot that deals damage and causes your next 1 to 2 arcane shots or multi-shots to deal more damage, which is this one here, one of our main focus spenders. Aimed shot deals 50% bonus damage to targets who are above 70% health. Aimed shot also fires a serpent sting at the primary target. So when I use that, you can see it's put serpent sting on there, which is a dot or damage over time for 18 seconds. And we've got these 2 charges here, precise shots. Damage of our next arcane shot is increased and their focus cost is reduced. So when we've used our aim shot, we then get a higher damage version of our arcane shot. After your aimed shot, use explosive shot. And can you see up here that sometimes when we're using our abilities, we're getting stacks of Wailing Arrow? Your next aim shot becomes Wailing Arrow at 20 stacks. And that's actually when we're going to use aim shot here. So we're going to use it as a higher priority if it is a Wailing Arrow, and at a lower priority here if it's just bog standard aimed shot. You can see that is from the talent here, Wailing Arrow. We also have the lock and load talent here. Your ranged auto attacks have a chance to trigger lock and load, causing your next aim shot to cost no focus and be instant. And when you see your aimed shot proc, that is actually what is happening. So whenever you do get a proc, you can use it at this point as well. After that, use explosive shot on cooldown. We're going to use our arcane shot to spend any charges. Let's just get some charges. Here we go, of precise shots. Remember, your arcane shot is going to be doing more damage after using aimed shot. So we're going to use up those charges here. Obviously using any kill shot charges, we're getting procced. Using any remaining aimed shot charges we have. And then we're going to use arcane shot, regardless if we've got any precise shot stacks or not, just as our focus dump here. So again, use steady shot twice to get up your steady focus buff. Use black arrow on cooldown. Use any stacks procs of kill shot here. Use rapid fire on cooldown. Use Wailing Arrow if it's here. Use explosive shot on cooldown. Use any stacks of precise shots with arcane shot. Then use any other stacks of aimed shot that you have here. Use any remaining stacks, or, well, not stacks, I guess, but any kind of available arcane shots to use. It is going to cost you 40 focus, and then use steady shot if you've got nothing else to press. And that pretty much is the main rotation, with the 2 cooldowns we have here, True Shot being used on cooldown, and then also Primal Rage, which is your Bloodlust. We have got a few other little utilities. Aspect of the Cheetah, increasing movement speed. Aspect of the Turtle, Exhilaration and Survival of the Fittest are your free defensives. And that pretty much is it. Now let's move on to the hero talents that we're going to be using, which are, of course, Dark Ranger. Let's have a look at them in a bit more detail for Marksmanship. So in this Marksmanship build, we are going with, of course, Dark Ranger. And I want to go through in a bit more detail the hero talents, as they are, of course, new to everyone. So, obviously, the first one we get, the keystone talent, is Black Arrow. Fire a Black Arrow into your target, dealing shadow damage over 18 seconds. Each time Black Arrow deals damage, it can generate a charge of aimed shot and reduce its cast time. Cool. Going down the left side, we've got Overshadow, where aimed shot and rapid fire do more damage. Then we've got a choice node. I like to go with Dark Empowerment. When Black Arrow resets the cooldown of ability, you gain some focus. You can go with Grave Reaper, but only if there's a lot of targets dying very quickly. Shadow Lash. When True Shot is active, Black Arrow deals damage faster. Shadow Hounds. Basically, you have a chance to literally summon hounds that will do shadow damage for you. Another choice node, I go for Smokescreen. Exhilaration grants you 3 seconds of Survival of the Fittest, and Survival of the Fittest activates Exhilaration at 50% effectiveness. They kind of symbiotically activate each other a little bit. Then we've got Shadow Surge. When multi-shot hits a target affected by Black Arrow, a burst of shadow damage erupts, dealing damage to all enemies near the target. That can only happen every 6 seconds. Death Shade. When you apply Black Arrow, you gain the Death Blow effect. Lovely for us. Dark Chains. Oh my god, this is insane. I love Dark Chains. Disengage will chain the closest target to the ground, causing them to move slower until they move 8 yards away. So when you disengage out, it's going to chain that target to the ground. So not just getting you out of the situation, but also stopping them from getting back to you. Then we have Darkness Calls, where all shadow damage you and your pets deal is increased. And lastly, Withering Fire. When your Black Arrow resets a cooldown of aimed shot, a barrage of dark arrows will strike your target for shadow damage and increase the damage you and your pets deal for a short duration, which is fabulous. And that pretty much is it for Dark Ranger. Apart from adding Black Arrow, of course, it doesn't really do that much, apart from reducing a few cooldowns, adding some really neat utilities, and obviously summoning Hounds of Hell to basically do damage for you, etc. It's really, really cool without having to massively change our rotation. Finally, we're going to look at the consumables and enchants, etc. that we're using. So in the War Within, a few things have changed. Nerubian Gem Weavers. These are the new things you get in the weekly vault that you can add sockets to your gear with. So you're going to get them on the head, the wrist, and the waist, or at least that's where you can use them, should I say. You'll also notice these magnificent jeweler's settings. Basically, you can now add 2 sockets to your neck and 2 to each ring, rather than just adding 3 sockets to a neck. So 2 on the neck, 2 on the ring, 2 on the ring. Chant of Winged Grace. It gives avoidance and takes away some fall damage on your cloak. On your chest is Crystalline Radiance, giving you primary stat, Chant of Armored Avoidance gives you some avoidance. Going to put an armor kit on our legs. Defender's March or Scout's March. It's up to you which one you go for here. I like Scout's March as it gives speed, so you can get around quicker and a bit more mobility. Critical Strike is generally the best enchant for the rings, but if you are simulating, do be careful to check which is the best secondary stat for you, and the Authority of Radiant Power is going to be on your weapon enchant. Basically, dealing damage has a chance to smite your enemy with Radiant Power, and then also massively increase your primary stat as well. And that is what that weapon enchant will do. Then, looking at the actual consumables, I would just say to go for the Flask of Tempered Versatility, because it's a very general flask, like we did in Dragonflight. Same in the War Within. You can just use that to get more versatility. Feast of the Divine Day, pretty obvious on why we're using a feast. Tempered Potion, this is really interesting. This is actually going to increase all your other secondary stats that you're not using on your flask. Algari Healing Potion is the healing potion for the War Within. Algari Mana Oil, again, adding haste and crit, I think it is, off the top of my head. I filmed so many of these, I'm like, is that what it is? It is, on the Mana Oil for your weapon. And if you are using an Augment rune, these are called Crystallized Augment runes. This just gives you a bit more primary stat, but are generally very expensive. And then Sockets, Culminating Blasphemite. Basically, it adds primary stat, and it's also going to add 0.15% critical effect, not chance, but effect, per colour gem you have. So if you're using a ruby, an onyx, a sapphire, and an emerald, it's 4 times 15, so you're going to get 0.60%, so 0.660, not 60%, 0.60% increased critical effect. If you're only using rubies, you're only going to get 0.15%. Hopefully that makes sense. Once you've used one of each colour, feel free to go ham, depending on what you need for your character, if you're simming, etc., or based off the stat priority I showed earlier, depending if you're a beginner or not, for the rest of the gems. But on your first 4 gem sockets, do try and get one of each colour for your Culminating Blasphemite. And that is pretty much it, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I am trying to do as many specs as I can for the kind of alternative hero talent build, if you will. And remember, it is going to be in the pinned comment for you if you would like it for this spec. I would kindly ask that you do at least consider looking at my Patreon, as that is the main way to support me as a creator. I do try and do every spec as soon as possible, meaning that I hardly get to actually play the game on release because I'm busy doing these videos. So if you would like to support it, it would be absolutely massively appreciated by me. You can also get LVUI profiles, macros, and any support from me as a Patreon member in the Discord as well, should you need it, and that can be one-on-one. And you can check out this playlist here to see all of my PvE guides for Season 1 of The War Within. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a thumbs up if you liked the video.